What's up, everybody? Welcome to Batman Unmasked, your reaction show for Batman, the Telltale series. I'm Greg Miller from KindofFunny.com. Before we go any further, spoiler alert, we're about to ruin everything that happened in Batman Episode 2. This is James, the writer of the episode. How are you, James?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank
How are
you.
you doing?
I'm really screwed up after this planned episode. We're going to talk about what you did to me. Over here, John, the director of the episode. How are you?
Good.
You excited?
I'm very
You
excited.
looking forward to the show? You live wire?
I'll let you be the judge.
All right, that's what I hear. And this is Travis. Travis is Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No bigs.
No big whoop.
Yeah.
No big whoop. I'm glad you're all here and gathered. I want to start at the very end of episode 2 and talk about this choice. Man, fuck you, James.
Yeah, son of a bee.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
What the H?
heck? Like, woof, man. Like, at what point did you know you wanted to end there, that's where episode 2 was going?
Well, this is just how we craft the Telltale choices. I mean, we started that, we knew we wanted to play off the relationships that Bruce had built over the course of the game.
Sure.
And we knew that we wanted to pit those two really important characters against each other in a choice, and we built towards that.
The thing about it, you know, doing the show, and I guess even just watching the show, right, and playing the game, I know you guys have been talking so much about telling your own Batman story. So when we get there and it's choose between Catwoman or Harvey Dent, I really thought you were about to kill one of them. Because it made it seem like one of them was about to die, and I was like, I can't put anything past you guys. You're sick. So I didn't know what was about to happen, and so my thoughts, and run with me on this.
I'm with you.
First off, our personal relationship aside,
Right.
I like the Harvey Dent guy.
Yeah.
And so when I see them laid out there, I look at Catwoman, I'm like, she put on the mask. She knew the risks coming in. This is the life she chose. Plus, she can defend herself. And I look over at Harvey, and I'm like, he's an innocent in all this.
He's a babe in the woods.
He's just trying to turn this thing around in this
Yeah.
city. So I, of course, choose to save you. Again, though, not based on our personal relationship. Ethics in Batman Unmasked. And so you know what I mean? I go over there, save you, Catwoman limps off. What did you do? Are you in a weird situation?
I did the same thing. I even knew what was happening, and even though Harvey Dent is built sort of like a retired NFL linebacker,
Yeah.
looks like he'd be able to handle himself.
Yeah.
Catwoman's decked out. She's got the whip. She's armed. She's
Sure.
ready to go. I chose Harvey because he's not armed. He's on the floor. You even hear that girlish scream,
Of course.
come out of his giant body. Ah!
Based on your real scream.
That's what swayed me, honestly, in the end. And I saved Harvey, even knowing that it might delay Two-Face's face.
See, and that's the big thing, you know. You guys in these Telltale games, you got your branching paths, all these different things, these
Yeah.
choices. When I was like, oh, they're gonna kill one of them, maybe Selena can survive. Selena survives. I'm like, great, because of course, being a normal human being, when you see a 150-pound light about to hit somebody's head, I'm like, well, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then I got on the internet, and people were like, oh, he's not Two-Face. I'm like, mother effer, he would have been Two-Face. Right to YouTube to watch it and do all that stuff. Is that then something fun to tackle as a writer?
Oh, it's really fun. Yeah, it's obviously what we do this for, the opportunity to allow players to shape their own narrative. But it's interesting that you guys said that you both picked Harvey, because I think we thought that a lot of people would have gone for Catwoman.
Yeah.
Simply because you have that really fun, potentially romantic scene in the middle of the game with her. So
Sure.
we're like into this character, and just before the end, just before the debate, Harvey, by contrast, pretty much it does what we call the breakup scene. He dumps you. Yeah, and
Shallow.
yeah. So we're like, oh gosh,
that whole
he's gonna
scene-
totally. Well, no one's gonna like this guy.
Oh my God, that you're hogwash. You're both
Yeah,
so
yeah,
wrong.
thank you.
But
Right.
wait,
Not at all.
we did work to kind of bring it back by having him speak the truth under the influence of the drug in that finale.
But see, for me, that was not even part of my argument or my thought process. I was so in the scene of leave the debate that when he's like, but I got to tell you something, like, it doesn't matter, what, go. And then I'm driving the car, and he's like, I'm going to be mean to you. I'm like, I don't care, fine, just get out of the debate. What are you doing? Shelby over here in the audience was telling me beforehand that's not what happened for her. That she was playing it, and she was like, she was personally hurt that Harvey was saying these things to her, but she still backed him in the end. Because we all have to believe in Harvey Dent.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Change for Gotham. New face for Gotham.
Is that what you picked too?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, of course.
It is.
Yeah.
And I supported him. And I was hurt at the end of the game, just personally, because it seemed like, when I played it, it said 73% of people have chosen to save Catwoman. I was like, come on! Get it closer to 50-50. I feel like a personal affront was given by that number.
And see, that was the I think what was on the line for me in the situation, right? Is the fact that, yeah, when we're behind the car after the bar fight, which, by the way, magnificent. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
When I'm behind the car, I went for the kiss. And it's just because there is that spark there between them, and we all know, she even admits she's playing Harvey, that this isn't a real thing or whatever, so I know what's going on. And again, Batman, Catwoman, they're real personas there, not Bruce and Selina. I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna go for. So then when it was, I was like, I'm probably gonna screw up this relationship, but I think in episode 3, if given the chance, I can make her understand. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll woo her in the next one.
yeah, well, it's just
I'll
like
win her
she's
over.
gonna get it. She knew what was going on.
It was just a gunshot. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
What's a
what are you
gunshot
crying
between?
about? You
Yeah.
limped away. Left
Well,
a
no
blood trail.
spoilers, but you may get a chance.
Oh, well, I know, because that was the thing I noticed too with the, next time on Batman. Like when it went on there or whatever, I'm
was
available.
good,
I'm
man.
coming for your jobs. Look
I
out.
feel it. I
Don't
felt the
worry.
gravitas.
I'm Harvey Dent. I should be the mayor. See, I can do that too. But that was the thing, yeah. But I think what was fascinating for me as a fan of both Batman and Telltale is that episode 2 was when you guys really got to make it your own. Episode 1 was great. You were setting up what's happening. You're setting up who this Harvey Dent is. But episode 2 was where the changes start happening. You start to make your own canon. Yeah. Like, as a writer, James, was that from the onset that you knew that episode 1's gonna be a lot of establishing stuff and then we get to play with it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think episode 1 did an absolutely fantastic job across the board, and part of that was in seeding the exact amount, the right amount of Wayne corruption and the kind of planting the seeds of something that could potentially be a revision to the canon.
Sure.
But I think a lot of people thought we were going to pull back from
Yep.
that. And I think when we started episode 2, we were really determined that we were going to go all the way. The whole team was like, we're not going to half-ass this. We're going to go all the way in. And we start that straight off the bat with Falcone getting shot. Like immediately it says like, okay, it's an explosive narrative moment, and it immediately says we're not in a Batman world that is familiar to a lot of people.
Well, sure, even establishing like Renee Montoya, I was like, oh, okay, someone else I can trust in the Force.
Right.
And then she blows him away. I
Right,
was like,
exactly.
Not where I thought that was gonna
Yeah.
go. Didn't expect it to go that way, right?
Absolutely.
But then, yeah, I mean, to his point, when you guys end episode 1, I am like, all right, we're ending on the cliffhanger to come back and have Alfred explain that no, Thomas and Martha weren't bad people, and then no, you guys commit, and like Thomas is a horrible person. This whole family is really screwed up.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
If nothing else, episode 2 had to double down on that idea and leave no room for the possibility that they weren't corrupt,
Sure.
basically. So that was the heavy lifting 2 had to do.
John, was there concern, like when you guys are sitting down to make Batman, about playing something that's been canon for so long?
Oh, sure. I mean, I directed the episode, but I was, one of the people in the room who was like, oh, we can't do that, Thomas Wayne. We can't. Are you kidding me? This guy dresses up as a bat and goes out and punches people at night. One of the few human things we have to sort of ground him is his parents. You take that off the table, these guys are corrupt. He doesn't have that, his rock,
Right.
basically. And then suddenly you open the door to, well, now players can kind of decide, well, why am I Batman? What makes my Batman my Batman?
And that was the interesting thing is playing it, right, Travis, is you can see it all start happening in dialogue options where, yeah, you are searching for that. And I imagine as we continue to go, there's got to be a line in there of doubt of why am I doing this if the reasons I were doing it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I loved that, especially as Bruce, when you're given the option to be Batman or Bruce, that he has the ability to be sort of that darker Thomas Wayne in some of his interactions. Because in the beginning, I wanted to be very as Bruce, right? You want to do the thing where you're the upstanding citizen, kind of upholding the Wayne name. And I felt the need, whether it was Falcone in episode 1 or going in to talk to Mayor Hill in episode 2, where you're like, I want to play him kind of like the dumb billionaire, kind of that you've seen previously, and then you can come in as a Dark Knight later. But having the ability to be a little more pointed, a little more jagged, to be a little bit more enforcer and show that edge as Bruce, I really found myself gravitating towards that. So I think having Thomas and Martha being these giant kingpins really made it fun to go like, you know what, I'm going to be dark on both sides of the ball and really push that Bruce edge. I thought that was fun, because I've seen the nicer Bruce, but I really enjoyed getting to be kind of the snarkier Bruce as well.
Well, that's what you guys are so great at, is putting us in uncomfortable situations. Where, yeah, in episode 1, I'm going to be the aloof Bruce, and I don't care if everybody thinks I'm an idiot.
I'm setting him up.
And Falcone walks in, I'm like, I'm not gonna shake his hand. And sorry, chalk my stick. I'm like, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? And then again, yeah, the same thing. I did the exact same thing where it's like, do you want to go after the mayor as Batman or Bruce? And in my game, Alfred's like, the city's starting to like Batman. Like, if Batman goes in there, that's gonna be a huge thing. I'm like, no, going in as Bruce. And then I got there.
That was the worst part too. Was that I chalked the stick, right? Like I
You-
was super
you
like
coward.
I was a puppet.
Oh,
I
no.
sold out. I did. I was like,
Weak will.
I'm not going to make him suspect me at all. And then they made me pay for it at the end of the episode. Like, oh, he was being nice with
Yep.
Falcone. I'm like, no more diplomacy.
No, yeah, that's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
be a hard ass from here on out.
I actually care about the public perception.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, when it was like Batman's gonna be, I'm like, no, we'll go in as Bruce. And again, I'm gonna be like, I'll tell him whatever I need to say. And he's like, well, you gotta dump Dent and support me. I'm like, you go to hell. I refuse to do that. I'll bury you. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I go in there thinking I'm gonna be one guy, and you guys always make it the other way.
Right.
I assume that makes you incredibly happy, James. That
It makes it makes me very happy. Yeah.
That was, I think, what I liked about episode 2 is talking to people who've played it. We all had options to go different way. Granted, you and I did the same thing.
We did.
My girl Shelby and I did the same thing in the end.
Shelby.
You know what I mean? Whatever. But like the fact that, yeah, you could swoop in as Batman and do that. You could have this drastically different choice choosing the players. I like that we're finally starting to explore that. And I'm excited for what that means for episode 3 and everything else that far ahead.
Can I also say that I love that if you choose to try and butter up Falcone, or if you try to choose to butter up Hill, right? You say, I'm going to stop supporting Dent. I'm going to give you these things. Oh, we can be friends. Cool. You're like, cool. I've now set him up so that maybe he'll release a little bit more to expose it down the line. And as soon as that happens, nope, gone.
Yep.
They're both removed from the story that quickly. There's a little Game of Thrones in you guys, I'm just saying. A little bleed
A little bit.
That's another Telltale game available right now.
Hey.
I guess, Travis, this episode obviously hinges a lot on you. And what's interesting now is that you leave Harvey Dent in 2 distinctly different places.
Right.
How do you wrap your head around that as an actor moving forward?
It's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this Harvey Dent the most. Harvey really is that altruistic politician, right? He really wants to do things in an honest way. He wants to see Gotham see better days. And so with that as a starting point, that was good for me. To see him be taken advantage of, to fall victim to sort of the machinations of these larger powers, it was important that we had a conversation about where does possibly this other side come from? Where does Two-Face even begin? Is it a loss of a loved one? Is it an insecurity? Does he have an anger issue that we've seen before? So in this way, you see that his best efforts are not enough, and that his inability to cope with these situations as that politician needs something extra, and he sort of manifests that in this other personality. And it was just a trip to see in the script sort of either a fast, steep slide into sort of that darker persona, or one that's more gradual.
Yeah.
And that just barely shows that it might get there, or maybe it won't. To see that on the page as an actor, you find yourself kind of giggling in the booth a little bit, because you want to go to that dark place, right? And then other times you're like, I kind of like that. You'll tease it every once in a while, whether it's the line in episode 2, but like, oh, the makeup artist is here, I got to put my face on, or like, I don't even know if people picked on it because it wasn't really highlighted in the debate. A Penguin says like, we'll let the coin decide who goes first, heads, and makes Dent call it. And so those sort of things that are just little peaks are always like my little fanboy going like,
Yeah.
Those are important for us too.
Yeah.
We see the forums and we see the people who pick that stuff up. And
Yeah.
They got that.
Well, that's the thing.
Because
is-
it was intentional.
yeah.
I feel like you guys and I'm a Telltale fan, obviously. With this Batman one, it's one of the ones that is encouraging me to replay the most. Whether it be the fact that there isn't the rewind to jump back and just play with choices, which yes, sucks
hurts.
when in the minute you want to just know what the other one would have been.
hurts my
right?
body.
But
Yeah.
you make those choices, and like for Walking Dead, it was always I'm making those choices and living with them. I always felt right because Clem is my Clem, Lee was my Lee, whereas Batman is Batman, and so like I feel like there are two very different Batmans in the game if you want there to be, right? There is the one that I'm trying to be, which is very much like gray suit, blue cowl, like what's up, chum? Like I'm here, I'm not gonna break your arm, don't worry. And then there's the other one, I'm gonna hit you in the face with this freaking stick and then break your arm and ask all these questions. And so to get to play with that, I imagine, for you guys as you figure out what your game is and what your story is, it's got to be exciting, but it's got to be hard, right? It's in terms of being a writer of.
But you have to write 3 different versions of the character to service all of the different things that the player might want to be expressing in that moment. And I think it is challenging, but it's also extremely rewarding, and you get to explore all of the facets of this character. So yeah.
That's cool. So it really is like thinking of 3 different lines of a
Well, it's
character.
not- yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, they wrote 40 different versions of this character, but it's like if those are the 3 ways that it branches off.
I mean, it's not always completely consistent throughout. You know, that we stick to 3 rails, but we generally try and express.
Wow, it feels like there's so many more.
Just accept the job, all right?
Yeah,
You
I know.
it comes
Well,
with the territory.
we're always curious as well because the flavors that come through on each of those lines. Sometimes we'll be like, oh, this is if you're being the good Harvey, or he's trying to do the best thing for Gotham, and then they'll be like, no, that's actually branched off of if you've made this previous choice. You're like,
oh no,
my world is a lie. I don't know anything.
Now, Travis, I believe we have a clip of you in the booth.
Oh,
Talking a little bit about this, about how you come in and how you tackle these lines.
my God.
Would you like to see it?
I would.
So would I.
Harvey Dent, starting middle linebacker for the Gotham Knights. He is such a monster. He's got the biggest shoulders and Greek chin I've ever seen. Obviously based off of me in real life, Adonis. Like this. Recording for a Telltale game is like nothing else out there.
Are you a fan? You're a fan?
It took a good couple of hours of the first session just to say like, okay. Read the prompt right before it, and then you'll be able to come in and that'll reference where you are. So that's why takes are so great, because you can get one that's super passionate and heightened, and you can bring it back and do it subtle.
And I'm sorry. God damn it!
That sounded like God damn it.
Damn it!
And when you're there and you have the ability to throw the ball back and forth with another actor in the room, it just always makes for a more natural, subtle, believable performance. It takes away having to imagine what their read is going to be. It takes away, having to have that secondary voice, which shouldn't be strange for Harvey. And you get to see their face, you get to see the delivery that they're doing, and it influences your own read as it's happening.
You need some help back there? Or?
No, I'm fine. A little late to be worried about me, isn't it?
You really want to cheer for Harvey. You see sort of the tragic tale of a politician who's trying to do good for the city, is trying to do it by the proper means, and despite his best efforts, he's still going to get caught up in the tidal wave of the corruption of Gotham, and it smashes over him, and that should be just as heartbreaking for the fans as it is for Harvey himself.
Please. I don't want to be alone, Bruce. God. Please, not with him.
Oh, jeez.
My favorite thing about it in there is like you're giving that emotional scene at the end, and then you're like moving the iPad.
So detached.
You're
So
like crying. Oh, I gotta do this. John, for you guys, what do the actors bring to the table? Like, I figure you guys have been working on the game quietly forever, it seems, and then you finally get to this point where now you not only do you have the voice actors cast, you have reference material, and they're able to work with the characters.
The performances are all completely tailored to what we get back from the vocal performance. So the way we build our games lets us kind of on the fly pretty quickly dial in a performance for a character and whatnot. And the voice leads us to do things like suggest certain, staging changes, blocking changes, moving around the scene. The physical performance is usually informed entirely by the vocal, aside from we know Harvey's gonna get his face smashed here. We know that has to happen. But as far as how Harvey has that conversation with Bruce or Selena and whatnot, it's all generated by the voice.
What I liked, I think, the most about episode 2, I think might come, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, from the director's stance, in the way that I felt like, not to say that episode 1 was standard fare or boring or anything like that, but the fact of when I am Batman and I am moving across the catwalk looking down at Penguin holding people hostage, or that fight scene, I felt like there was things that were different, that you were, again, making it your own. I mean, was that something coming into it you felt you had to do?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm a Batman fan from, the time I was 10. I still have my animated series poster on my wall in my apartment. So just the opportunity to get to say we're going to put the camera here on Batman as he stalks towards the Penguin and Harvey Dent on stage is just mind-blowing. But also, there's kind of a shift between Ep 1 and Ep 2, where Ep 1 is very much that's your Batman kind of traditional crime gangster story. At the end, you have the fall of Falcone. And then 2 is the rise of supercrime. It's supervillains are starting to take the stage. So suddenly it's going to become more dynamic, faster paced, a little more action oriented.
So then for the fight scene, where does that begin? Is that put on the page and then you guys talk about how that's going to look? Because that was one of those things of that starts, and I was like,
Sure.
this is awesome. The music, when it comes
The
in and hits the
music.
jukebox, you're like, oh my God,
So
yes.
good.
Yeah.
The Selena, you're talking about Selena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fight scene. That's
The
what I mean,
fight
what are you
scene,
talking about? There was
Yeah, that actually started as a pitch in the Creative Summit that happened in November of last year. It was like it's one of the few like kernels of scenes that has persisted. You know, we knew we were going to do this scene at one point, but you know, we don't articulate the action in the writing. That's mostly the directors who do that. So we have like, okay, we're going to have this scene with Selena. You know, maybe she's not that into you at the beginning, but we would love that they get into this bar brawl, and it'll be a really fun experience for the player, and hopefully by the end of it, they will pull together in some way. And we communicate that to John, and John goes and works the most amazing magic.
You're like,
with
no
it.
sweat. I got
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Relationship building through a bar fight. So it's their version of dancing for the night. One of the things we do on Batman that's unique that we haven't done yet at Telltale before this project is we actually work with a stunt team in LA. So what we'll do is we have the jumping off point from writing and design as far as like, you know, what the gist is. And then we'll blow that out into, well, we want to see Bruce grab a beer bottle out of a dude's head and then smash the dude behind him and all those sort of things and sort of like work out the structure. And then we send it to those guys. They send us back way more footage than we could ever hope to animate or make into a game. And we take the best stuff, and then that's how we wound up with that bar fight.
Amazing.
Right.
That is the coolest use of a stunt team ever.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we've talked a little bit about it, but let's get into the weeds on it. So the kiss, Bruce kissing Selena, or trying to, as I did, as you did.
I did.
As probably, I think it was like 90% of you in the stats did. Yeah. When you're writing it, how do you sit down and think about this as a love triangle, right? Because there is a moment in my conversation with Selena where she's like, Harvey's not a real thing, but he is DeBruce, so how do you make that all play?
Well, I mean, we obviously try and leverage the relationships that the player cares about against one another in our game. That's one of the things that that make Telltale content really compelling. And when we get it right, we hit the sweet spot. So we were working on that love triangle. We always knew that even though Selena's motivations might not exactly be clear, and whether she's actually into Harvey or like she's using him or what have you, we still knew that that would be something that would affect our friend if he ever found out, and that might weigh on the player when he was making those choices. So that was how we approached it.
With all the action that happened in episode 2, I kind of not forgot about it, but I was no longer worried about the consequences until I sit there and think about it. And especially how I left it, right? I chose to save Harvey, I pissed off Catwoman, now she has every reason in the world to go blow up my spot to Harvey Dent, right? Be like, oh, and Bruce tried to kiss me this one time. Are you worried about this as well?
No.
No? Okay, good. Your face is melted, so what does it matter?
I know that's true. Everything's ruined. Yeah, it was just an impulse choice at the when it happened, and I had to go back and do a playthrough just to see what happens when he resists the kiss.
Yeah.
And it's not satisfying at all.
No?
Go
No?
for the kiss. You got to get the kiss.
Yeah. Well, you didn't even get it, though.
Well, you
She
can.
plays hard to get.
I know. I actually had an audible like which is you've really gotten the player when you're in your silent room making your TV face. Of
Sure. And
And you're
that's,
playing, yeah.
I didn't even think about how messed up this is in your head, because you're making the conscious decision to cheat on yourself with your wife.
Welcome to my psychosis.
God damn, son.
I want to see Bruce get some too. I mean, come on.
Sure, you're
Bros.
playing as him, yeah.
Bros.
Big time.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And that's, we talked about it earlier when you were talking about directing the fight scene, and it was their version of dancing. That was the thing where I think in that moment you fall into love or lust or whatever you want to call it, but you know that you're kindred spirits, right? So then when
Yeah, you
get
know that
outside,
you're compatible.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got dinner, dancing, and then the kiss goodnight at the end as you're hiding from the cops in the alleyway.
So we talked a bit about Penguin. In the scene where we're back in Falcon's hideout, the penthouse or whatever, Blockbuster shows up, and no one calls him that. No one really makes a big deal about him being there. Like, was that why add him in that way?
Well, we needed. Our Penguin probably wouldn't last super long in a one-on-one fight with Batman, so we had to give you something physically imposing to put between you and the bad guy you really wanted to throttle. And so we just decided that we needed a big bruiser in the scene.
Yeah.
And some henchmen to back up Penguin. So then it was, well, let's go ahead and you know, what are the options on the table? And we just looked at the great list of, you know, Gotham-related bruisers, and there was Roland Desmond sitting right there, which is what we refer to him as in the episode. We don't really use his code name.
Canonical references to drugs in his backstory as well, and how he was you know, in some versions he was souped up, he was experimenting on himself, and we just thought actually there was a certain synergy with the drug through line that we have in our story.
Makes sense, yeah. Well, I mean, as a fan, especially you with the animated series poster at home, how cool was it to bring together Gordon, Catwoman, Batman?
Well, yeah, I mean, for those three together on a rooftop,
Yeah.
with the moon behind them and all that stuff, a classic Gotham Batman scene, was just ridiculous. That you're sitting there watching, you're like, yeah, we did this. We put these three on screen together. They're bouncing off each other, and they're about to go in and kick some ass, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure for you, for me, it was like, oh, Batman and Gordon are having this conversation, and for me, it was the payoff of I'm building this Batman that can be respected and can be leaned on. He's the good guy, and then to have Catwoman come in and him have to explain that she's cool, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, kind of in my mind, I'm like, is this the first real Batman-Gordon conversation that we were so used to as fans of the show? And then Catwoman drops in, and I love how he reaches for his piece right away, and she's like, "No, I wouldn't do that."
Yeah.
And then they zoom away with all their tech blurring, and he's like, "We're seriously underfunded in the GCPD."
Right? It was
and I
so
love
good.
that. Sounds like a vote for Dent.
Yeah,
Just great. Yeah, really
it was.
great.
There was definitely a rhythm too, and that's what I'm talking about with episode 2. And you know what you wrote, the way that we're existing in this universe now, and there are these moments of levity and the one-liners and the fun, and then the classic moments. It was great.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite scenes, and I also love it because it feels like a payoff to you helping her. The fact that she shows up to help you at the end. So she doesn't want to be in your debt.
So now, Travis, you're a fan like me. You're a fan like me.
Yes.
Who is leading the Children of Arkham?
Ooh.
Just tell me who's behind the mask, Travis.
I don't know. That's the
don't know
thing.
my ass.
No, I don't. I don't.
How far have you recorded?
I think we are at a semi-complete point in episode 3 with some changes I hear still coming. So, I mean, they don't give us a long shot into the future. There were times just in episode 1 where I said, so I know that Harvey Dent is just Harvey now, but I mean, we're going to make him Two-Face, right? Yeah. And they were like, maybe. I'm like, maybe? Maybe? There's that much in there? And they're like, yeah, we'll see. So there's not a lot that they give us in terms of a foreshadowing or even where things are going to end up. I'm lost. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me. Who is it?
It's Alfred.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean, that was a introduction I didn't expect. I like the mystery. That's definitely something that has me excited for, I mean, I was already excited, but more excited for episode 3. But then, in terms of episode 2, I found myself really unexpectedly caring about the Penguin. Of being like, I get where he's coming from. Like, yeah, this sucks, and I would be mad at Gotham and the Wayne family as well.
Stealing the wealth, stealing the land, stealing your entire birthright, that whole
thing.
Right,
oh yeah, and I mean, then, like, having it on camera, your mom getting totally screwed over. Like,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's gonna do it any day.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't kill these. I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill him.
Nah, they gotta die.
Yeah, they gotta die.
But that was the thing of, like, I think Penguin so far has been your most original character, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be fair, I'd say. I mean, he doesn't have any of the physical characteristics of the classic canonical Penguin. We wanted to create a complicated antagonist. We wanted for people to, we wanted his motives to be clear and relatable and understandable, even as he was doing horrible things. And I think we've reached that to a degree, or at least for you.
For me, yeah. For you did it. Travis, you there?
I'm in the same place.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So then what about your motivations then? Because I feel like episode 3 starts Harvey, I'd assume, in a drastically different place, right? Either if he is horribly burned or he's, man, dodged a bullet.
Yeah. And I love how, in the end, Bruce says, it could have been much, much worse if you save Harvey. Yeah. And he says, but there will still be scars, which is just beautiful foreshadowing for what's coming.
Now, Travis, you and I did the right thing.
We did.
Saved Harvey Dent. Mm-hmm. Some people didn't. Would you like to see where that leaves Mr. Dent in episode 3?
I guess.
Really? I know it's going to be painful. Hold my hand. I know it's going to be painful. But why do you hold hands like you shake hands?
I don't know. Here, how about this?
That's much better. Here we go. Let's see Two-Face.
Bruce, I've been looking forward to this my entire career. The day Harvey Dent takes his official portrait as mayor of Gotham. And he looks like this. You want to tell me what's going on?
I just found out Wayne Tech is compromised. The children of Arkham are using it to track the GCPD. You could be next.
But Wayne Tech is everywhere. If they can hack into it...
That's why they have to be stopped.
Leave it to me. Thank you, Bruce. Damn it! Those children of Arkham jumped me.
I heard Batman showed up to help.
Yeah, too late. Harvey Dent does everything by the book, to the letter of the law. But that isn't working. Sure it is. He's turning things around. Barely. Slowly. I'd like to see you do better. Watch me.
You're acting strange, Harvey.
This whole city's acting strange.
I am going to sell you out in a second.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell everyone you're losing your mind. What are you talking about back here, the man?
Right.
How much fun is that to play?
It's pretty great.
Yeah?
It's pretty great to see something like that as an actor. When you see two voices in the same person talking back and forth, you just kind of rub your hands together and just prepare for the ride yourself. You know, because you don't really know how it's going to go until you jump into it, because not a lot of us practice talking to two different sides of your own personality.
I feel like when you talk about Harvey Dent and Two-Face, Two-Face is the one there's so much to pull from, there's so much to look into. Harvey Dent obviously all around, but always that precursor, right, to everything going wrong. For your Two-Face, do you look for inspiration from other people? I mean, of course, Troy was Two-Face in the Rocksteady Batman games.
Right.
Troy Batman now.
Right, and in those games, he did a great job of kind of utilizing the sound that came from the original Batman, the animated series, you know, where he has this fantastic, like, lower growl. And, you know, I think, as you'll see with the character, there's not only that kind of low rage that's just waiting to boil under the surface, but also these peaks and, you know, these sharp points of anger and kind of panic that come out in a furious sort of way. I didn't want to really pay homage or do the same sort of thing that's kind of been done before.
Sure.
And I think, especially where, you know, Harvey's had sort of a big bad Harv type to him, this Harvey to me is not fueled by a loss of a loved one or sort of an anger problem. It's shame. You know, it's embarrassment. He's not enough as he is. And sort of this dark little voice in the back of his mind has slowly started to gain prominence and then forces his way into being equal with where Harvey is, and he's really feeling the panic of, I'm losing this, as you know, as he's moving into the mayor's office where the spotlight couldn't be any brighter.
Exactly, especially when it's laying on his face.
Yeah.
Travis Willingham.
Greg Miller.
Every one of these voice actors types I meet, they got a different process. Some, you know, again, the scarfs, the pretty socks.
Oh, sure.
They're very, you know, they're up on a pedestal. Some are normal people like yourself. The fine people at Telltale here wanted me to ask Harvey Dent / Two-Face questions and have it respond, they respond.
Ooh.
Are you up for that?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you switch? Can you do that?
I will try.
Okay.
I need to inject myself with some of that crazy serum that he gets in.
Sure,
episode
exactly.
two, but, yeah.
I'm gonna ask you the one question about some of the things happening in Gotham. You can respond as either character. You can switch back and forth. You can do whatever you want.
Glad
do
I got
you need a
whiskey
second to
in
get in
this
your
cup.
scene?
No, that's
exactly.
good.
Cheers. Come on, clinky clinks. You know what I'm saying? There you go.
To you, brother. All right, let's rock it.
Mr. Dent, what is your impression of the Children of Arkham?
I think the Children of Arkham are a dangerous terrorist organization that's trying to upset the peace and calm that this city deserves. I think they are striving towards a goal that will not be allowed, and that the good men and women at the GCPD will strive to curtail.
As the mayor of Gotham, how do you plan to curtail it?
With force. A stricter hand. No more of this easy, weak policy towards these repeat offenders. We will set a new precedent, and we will not be merciful.
And how does the Batman fit into this?
I think the Batman he's a symbol of hope for our city. I think it's important to have a
Freak like that can just do whatever he wants. Sure, does he get results? Yes.
But I think that sort of leadership is something that the people of Gotham can rally behind.
Does the end of Falcone mean Gotham's a safer place?
Falcone was nothing.
So sorry, Mr. Miller. I think so. I think it's a launch pad for a new hope for the future of this city.
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
Seeing you right into it.
Oh yeah.
Troy Baker would have walked off. I need to get in scene.
Right.
How do I be Batman?
I did light some incense under here, and I'm holding my meditation.
Yeah, I was gonna
beads
say
under
keep
here.
that up higher.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm holding this down low. Like, what are you doing? No, what are you doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Batman Unmasked. What did you think of Batman, the Telltale series, episode 2? Let us know, whether it be the forums or it be the YouTube or it be you just open up your window right now and just shout out, good or bad. That's all we really want. We'll hear it eventually. And remember, we'll be back next time. But until then, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Yeah.